let's talk about the report that Bill Belichick is done. He's going to be out reportedly as the head coach of the Patriots after this season. And he's. I want to know if he still got the title as the GOAT. I know he's lost a lot of street cred when Tom Brady left and won the Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Bucks. And then people always ask the question, who had more? Basically, who had more responsibility? Who was more responsible for the titles that they won? Was it more because of Brady or Belichick and the Patriot way and all that kind of stuff? That's not really what I see. That's not really I don't know, what intrigues me and what's interesting to me about what's happening to Bill Belichick. First of all, Bill Belichick, I think ultimately is hurting a little bit from not having a great coaching tree. I think it's actually hurt him now, and there's a reason for it. He's just not a very forthcoming, open coach. A lot of the guys who have left and been in that Bill Belichick coaching tree, and then a lot of them have come back to coach for him. All right, and I honestly I thought at one point if he'd have been there long enough, Josh McDaniels probably would end up coming back too. But Bill O'Brien comes back, right? Matt Patricia comes back. All these coaches, so many of them, they're from the Bill Belichick coaching tree. They end up leaving, getting hired by some team. They fail miserably, who are Joe Judge, and then they end up coming back to Bill Belichick, right? Coming back to the coach, and I think ultimately, those coaches, their failure is partly due to Bill Belichick, because I've always said this about him and why his coaching tree is bad. His coaching tree is bad because of partly because of his disposition and personality. He's not a very open guy. He's not very communicative. He's not forthcoming. He doesn't give up a lot of information. Even at press conferences with the media, Bill Belichick is the guy that he's mumbling and he's giving you one-word answers unless he's talking about, I don't know, like military history or something like that interests him. Usually you're not going to get a lot of information out of Bill Belichick. And you think, oh, that's just the way he is with the media. He's actually like that with his team, too. He doesn't give them a lot of information, even his coaches. That's why his coaches actually, in my opinion, they are not really, in terms of the coaching tree, they are not the best coaches, even though he is considered a GOAT, is because they don't actually know the secrets to the Bill Belichick design. They actually don't know the reasons why Bill Belichick's design has been so successful. Some people say it was all because of Tom Brady. It's not all because of Tom Brady. Bill Belichick contributed to it too, but Bill Belichick was always paranoid, and he ran the Patriots almost with that paranoia, inspiring a lot of his methods. And he ran them like a clandestine organization, not sharing a lot of secrets, not sharing a lot of information, even with his own coaches. Remember, Malcolm Butler benched before the Super Bowl, and even to this day, Matt Patricia, Tom Brady, nobody knows why. Didn't share that information, just kept it all to himself, made the decision, and the decision was final because he is, of course, he's the ultimate authority there. Nobody questions him. And nothing wrong with that. Bill Belichick can make any decision he wants, but my point is, it's an example of him never sharing information. That's right before the Super Bowl, and nobody knows why, still to this day. He carries around with him his own amorphous kind of book of concepts and defenses that he has picked up all throughout the years, and nobody has access to it. That's actually a real thing. He's got his own playbook essentially that he carries around with him. Nobody has access to it. It is something that they've talked about for years there with the Patriots, and it is something he keeps close to the vest. It is something personal to him. Maybe he shared it with his son, who's also on the staff there, but not many people. And also, we already know about Spygate and the library of material they had on different teams, and Spygate and them getting different teams practicing and different teams walkthroughs and stuff like that. We already know that was something that was probably, I'm not saying it wasn't blown out of proportion. I'm going to say that the NFL tried to put the kibosh on it, and there's more information out there about it, but nobody cares at this point. We're so far removed from it. But my point is, it just shows you that he runs that organization like the CIA or the FBI. I mean, they are, like I said, they are run like a clandestine, secretive operation. But that's also his personality, and that's why his coaching tree is so bad, because he never shares information with them. The best coaching trees are from coaches who share information, and they are essentially open books, and they're very forthcoming. Bill Parcells' coaching tree is awesome. Hell, Bill Belichick is on that coaching tree. All right. Sean Payton's on that coaching tree. Damn good coach. Tom Coughlin was on that coaching tree. Why? Because Bill Parcells was always sharing information. He was always in holding court with the media. He was a broadcaster as well. He wrote books. There is all types of stuff that Bill Parcells did to get his message out there, his philosophy out there, whether with the media or with other coaches. Bill Walsh famously has the greatest coaching tree of all time, but Bill Walsh was a professorial, right, in his approach to football. He wrote plenty of books. You can go out there and read about his philosophy and his methods. He had clinics. He's the one that started the minority coaching program and was always sharing information about how to better build an organization and how to better build a culture of an organization. And that's why his coaching tree with Holmgren and Shanahan and George Seifert, it was a really successful coaching tree as well. Hell, Andy Reid has a really good coaching tree because of, John Harbaugh's on that coaching tree, and hell, Doug Peterson's on that coaching tree. Ron Rivera's on that coaching tree. You got some good coaches on that. Sean McDermott, I think, is on that coaching tree as well. So Andy Reid has a decent coaching tree because Andy Reid shares a lot of information. Mike Shanahan has a great coaching tree because Shanahan always shares information with his coaches. They know exactly how the system works. They know why the system works. They get all of the details. They get the secret ingredients, which Bill Belichick does not like to share even with his own coaches. And because they never had the secret ingredients, they never were able to build these football organizations up from the ground up or from the top down. They weren't taught that skill by Belichick. He doesn't develop coaches. There are other coaches who take pride in that, like Bill Parcells, like Bill Walsh, like Andy Reid, like the Shanahan clan. Like Mike Holmgren's one of those guys that took pride in it. His coaching tree is pretty good with John Gruden and Mike Sherman and Andy Reid's on that coaching tree. But when you look at the Belichick coaching tree, there's a reason it's bad, and ultimately that's why his legacy, I think, is tarnished and taking a hit. His legacy would be better if I think his coaching tree was better. And it's not. Even when he brings those coaches back, he's bringing them back, but they haven't been developed as coaches. They're not better coaches when they come back to him. They're failed coaches when they come back to him.
Yeah, his coaching tree, when they get to a spot, look lost. Like when Matt Patricia was in Detroit, or when at times Bill O'Brien in Houston, or Romeo Crennel when he went to Kansas City, they look like they have no clue what they're doing.
I know Nick Saban.
They're not successful. They're terrible coaches.
Yeah, and I know Nick Saban is on that coaching, but Nick Saban is at the college level, and we have talked about it. The college level and NFL might as well be two different sports at this time, in terms of talent acquisition and the obligations of the coaches and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, you're right about that.
Yeah.
And we'll see. It looks like Belichick parting ways with New England, how that'll play out. It does look, the more further we get, that Belichick did run the organization that way, and that really the culture was built by Tom Brady. Like, Tom Brady was
He's the Patriot way.
Yeah, he was the guy getting the players together, and the stories are now out there. Tom Brady's talked about it, where he and Belichick would sit and talk about the upcoming opponent and how they're going to attack them, and he would help Tom with the defenses he's seeing, and they were really a team together. Kind of Brady building the culture, Belichick doing everything else, and the coaches were just kind of along for the ride.
He was a balance to the Patriot. I think the Patriot way, it was a thing and I think Belichick was really stubborn in his establishing that, and I think without Tom Brady to balance that out, the good cop bad cop, I think it ends up being more toxic.
Yeah.
Than being being one that's fruitful and one that's prosperous. I think it ends up being toxic because you don't have the balance of Brady.
Yeah.
He would balance it out for you.
Yeah, for the players in the locker room.